Combating crime requires the effective cooperation between the police and the local residents. As a candidate, what do you believe is the responsibility of the local residents to combat drugs and violence in their neighborhoods?
The biggest is you would hope that the residents are teaching their children not to commit crimes, not to do drugs. If we have residents who value that, who teach that, then the issue won't be a problem. But then if we do have residents who, or citizens who commit crimes, they must be assured that when they call, there's quick response. And when there's a response, there's quick enforcement, with the problems eradicated right away. But if there's no response, there's no solution right away, then citizens in the men and women who serve us. And so the key is to develop that communication, to have quick responses, and to support the men and women who serve our citizens, so that way the citizens will always feel like, I'm protected. They respond, and the problem was taken care of. And I will do all I can to ensure that. And like back to the beginning, we also must teach core values so that way the problems don't exist in the first place.
Thank you. Lynn?
Thanks, Lorenzo. At the end of the day, it's all about each of our actions one person at a time. So I do think residents play a huge role in keeping our community safe. But if you go back to some of their comments, we are the safest city in the valley, and it's not an accident. We have the best police department around. But we have a lot of people who think we must have 600 or 700 police officers. We see them everywhere. We actually don't have, wouldn't you like to have 600 or 700, Chief? Right around 100 officers. And part of why Clovis is safe is because neighbors trust the police. They know when they call, they'll get help. And when they get help, they trust our police department. So I think it takes both sides of the equation. But again, we each live in our own neighborhood. It is our job to look around. What do we see? Call and ask for help. Call and say what we see. And our police department responds. That's the beauty of living in the city of Clovis. So I do think it takes all of us to keep our community safe, and we all know that from our actions every single day.
Thank you. Paul?
I believe that it is a tremendous responsibility of the citizens to help keep a community safe. But that only works if you have a great police department. If you try to police, you try to call, you try to be vigilant about what's going on in your neighborhood, and nobody responds to you, you quit calling. And I think when you look at the broken windows syndrome of not letting something small roll into large community issues, the Clovis Police Department is probably one of the best examples I've ever seen of preventing that. They're proactive, they're doing community policing, they're responsive to the citizens. And when you feel that you're listened to and you're going to be responded to, it puts you in a position to want to pick up that phone and let them know that there's something going on. And so it's a very collaborative relationship in this community between our residents who feel heard, who feel responded to, and the excellent police department who responds and who is out there being proactive in our community. And I think that's been just an absolutely magnificent partnership in keeping this community safe.
Thank you. Drew?
I teach community policing at the Police Academy and have for the last 20 years. And there are several elements of a police community partnership. And there's an acronym called NIMBY, not in my backyard. Clovis citizens believe in that firmly, and they have a very good relationship with the police department because they know if they call, they're going to come. The police relationship with the community has really been difficult nationally over the last few years. And one of the things that I think we do well is transparency and community outreach so that the community knows their police department and trusts their police department, because as a public servant, we can't do our jobs without your